Hey guys, it is your Fit Doc, aka Kristen Simone, and I'm back with your weekly dose of medicine. Today we're going to be going over my application from 2021, so if you're interested, stay tuned. Okay y'all, so I'm going to just run down my application of 2021 from start to finish, and I'm going to take you all through it just so you know what to be expecting whenever it's time for you to apply. I feel like for the most part it's pretty straightforward, but I want to give you some examples on how in-depth and in detail I was being when it came to my work and my activities. So let's jump right into it. Actually, no, before I jump right into it, I just want to say congrats to all of the medical school applicants this year, or I guess last year. It was truly, it was an experience, man. It was hard out here. Congrats to everyone that is still in this process, still sticking with it, not giving up, still pursuing their dreams, still looking for other resources to be able to make it to where they want to be. Perseverance does not go unnoticed. This is a truly hard experience. I don't think I've ever experienced anything this hard. To actually make it is so rewarding, and I know that I'm not the only one that feels that way. Other medical school, future medical school students, MS1s, or incoming MS1s, I know feel the same exact way as me, just working so hard. So just congrats to you all, and congrats to everyone else for continuing to keep pushing towards their dreams. It's not easy, and not everyone is supposed to have your vision. It's meant for you and you only. So just had to give that encouraging speech, y'all, because I felt like I didn't really say enough in my other YouTube videos, because this process is really hard. And this application is going to look really standardized, but I want to give you some tips on how to spruce it up to make you stand out. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. So you're going to log on to the AAMC website, aamc.org, and you're going to create an account, and that account will allow you to apply to medical school. So you see the basic information. You have your AAMC ID and all that information, your sex, date of birth, country of birth, email, all that. If you want to edit my profile, you can go ahead and click that button, and it'll just bring you to your name, filling out your name and your contact information, and also your date of birth and your birthplace. So if we were to continue to go to the other parts of the application, we see the identifying information. And if I were to click on that, all you're really doing is just filling out, y'all, just your legal name, your preferred name, your other names. Like, it's really very, very basic. It doesn't get that much more basic than that. Your birth and your sex. So that's all that is. Nothing special about that. You're also going to have an area where you're going to put your transcripts in. And so your transcript, of course, is just like a summary of all classes you've taken throughout your years in college. And what you're going to do is you're going to create a transcript request form, because you're going to need to have a transcript that's going to be sent directly from your school to whatever schools you're applying to, or to the AAMC rather. So you're going to want to create a transcript request form, which it'll give you the option to do that. And you're going to want to also input all of your grades. And you're going to go into your coursework, which is what you are going to be actually inputting in. I believe there's a way that you don't have to manually do it, but I think I did mine manually. As you can see, you see all my courses from start to finish, and that is, I took a couple courses at CPCC, so that's included in that as well. All of your courses are going to be included in there. And so now we're going to move into the work and activities, and this is the section that I really want to harp on the most, because as you can see, there's up to 15 entries in this section, and the importance of this section is to not give a bunch of inconclusive, insignificant experiences in this section. I don't care if you have just 7 activities. If you can speak in depth on all 7 of those activities, that's way better than just trying to fill up all 15 entries. That's not what you want to do. As far as the entries, you do have 3 options to explain which 3 are the most meaningful to you. And so, as you can see, I did medical scribing. I was a part of a mentor and tutoring program. I shadowed. I was also a certified IV pharmacy technician. I was a sports and performance intern my last year of college, and I worked as a certified personal trainer for a couple years, I think up to 4 years. And I was also a volunteer food sorter at Second Harvest Metrolina Food Bank. I received multiple awards as a student athlete, one of them being the Arthur Ashe Award. I also worked as a volunteer group trainer, so I used that experience to enhance my personal training skills, but not only that, but reach out into the community. And I was a part of a couple leadership committees, and I earned medals, and I also earned a lot of honors being a Conference USA athlete and also being a scholar athlete, graduating magna cum laude. That is what my activities are looking like. Now let's go into the actual medical scribe, the first one that I wrote about. So this is what I want you all to pay attention to. So of course, you know, you have start, end date, what the name of it is. You do have to have a contact, I guess, so they can reach out to a person if they need to verify that you were working there. And this I did note as my experience that was very meaningful to me, but I want you all to understand like what I wrote, because I didn't just write about, you know, what a medical scribe does. I wrote about what I learned and how this impacted me as a doctor. So let's start from the beginning. Working as a medical scribe has taught me an insurmountable amount of information. I low-key feel like I messed this sentence up, because insurmountable already means a lot of information. I feel like I didn't need to have amount in there. Working as a medical scribe has taught me an insurmountable amount of information. I don't know. Either way, it worked. The experience is allowing me to witness the daily tasks of a physician. Okay, that's true. I work at a cancer clinic with a physician that specializes in breast and genitourinary cancers. I've watched how my physician relays both good and bad news. Okay, so I'm talking about what I've seen, not what I do, not what time I come in, not how many hours I'm working. I'm saying what I've watched, what I've observed. And I say I have also learned the importance of fluidity amongst the patient's healthcare team, because there at the clinic that I worked at, you have a doctor, you have a nurse practitioner, you have a nurse, you have a CMA, a certified medical assistant, you have a scribe. So all those people work together. Even pharmacists. There have been pharmacists that will come up to me and be like, hey, what did your doctor mean whenever they said this? Or was your doctor ordering this? And so it's very important, y'all, to pay attention, because some of these professionals are going to come up to you because you're the only one that's been with the doctor all day. You're the only one that's been in the rooms with her all day. There have been a lot of times where I have, you know, pre-charted, or I've charted for certain appointments, and like there'll be times where I'm not done with one person's chart after they've already left for their appointment. And there have been times where they're like, oh yeah, I saw in your note, or they'll talk to my doctor and they'll be like, oh yeah, I saw in your note that the patient was feeling this way, the patient was doing this. So really my doctor had not have even edited the note yet. They didn't even look at the note. They were just going off of what I said. That's why it's important to stay on your A game, y'all. You can do this. It's not as nerve-wracking as it may sound. You just gotta pay attention, and the doctor will correct whatever is wrong. Anyways, this was a meaningful experience for me because of how much I've learned and witnessed. Okay, that's what I said. I said I believe that this experience will serve as an aid in medical school because of the medical terminology that I've learned. That is true. One of the most important things that I've learned working under my physician is that everyone has the right to know exactly what is going on in their body. I've witnessed her draw diagrams, and that's true, because that is just another thing that I've learned by working at this job. Not what I've done, not how many hours I put in, not objective stuff, but very subjective experiences that only I can speak about. I even talked about how I learned the difference between estrogen positive and triple negative breast cancer, the CA-125 marker for cervical cancer, the side effects of aromatase inhibitors. Like, you probably, unless you work at a clinic or you know someone who's had breast cancer, like, you wouldn't know what I'm saying. I didn't even know what an aromatase inhibitor was until I started working there. Correlations between a pulmonary embolism and a deep vein thrombosis. Like, you understand how I'm actually bringing out detailed information that I learned that is not like general information. Like, that is what schools want to see. The way in which she connects with and impacts her patients strengthens my desire to become a physician. That's also how I tie in my passion for what I've learned and how that correlates to what I want to do as a doctor, how I feel when preparing to be a doctor. Not only treating my future patients, but teaching them about their physiology behind their disease is equally important. So that's what I learned from that experience. And you can tell I learned a lot because I gave you details, right? Okay, so now let's go into being a certified IV pharmacy technician. So again, you have the start date, end date, total hours, and where you worked at. And I said my experience as an IV pharmacy technician was extremely informative and inspiring. I explained that it was fast paced. I explained that I worked in a sterile environment. And I also explained what I did. I said that I created TPN bags for neonatal babies. I prepped chemotherapy patients. I also made syringes for epidural and intrathecal use. So that I was saying kind of like what I did. But I used that example because, again, it was very detailed. I didn't really explain like, oh, I spent this many hours doing this, or I work with the pharmacist. Like, obviously you work with the pharmacist, you're a pharmacy technician. Like, all pharmacy technicians work with pharmacists. I didn't just give you some bullet point message about what a pharmacy technician does. Again, this was a meaningful experience because it gave me another outlook on teamwork, y'all. Whenever I work as a pharmacy technician, please go look back at my videos. I'll tag them. But I learned so much about teamwork. We worked so hard in that facility. It was so busy. It was the busiest hospital where I live, and it was downtown, and I mean, it was crazy all the time. And I worked in the main pharmacy. There are like other pharmacies around the hospital, like little specialty pharmacies, or just like small little IV pharmacies, but we worked in the main pharmacy where we were supplying most of the drugs for all of the hospital. That's like all the floors, period. I don't even know how many floors there were in that hospital, but anyways, I say that to say I really learned the importance of teamwork. I learned the importance of just working with others and getting things done as fast and efficiently as possible, while also being accurate. There were times where the pharmacist would ask, where's the medication? And the nurse is like outside waiting for it because someone needs this alteplase fast because they're trying to prevent a heart attack or whatever. And it's up to you to make it. And alteplase comes frozen, so you have to kind of like thaw it out, and that takes time. You gotta like rub it in your hands, and you have to mix it with sodium chloride. So you really have to help each other out. If you feel like someone has a lot of stat medications, help them out, because at the end of the day, the patient needs the medication, and the nurse is the one that is waiting on that medication to be able to administer it. So they're all kind of like waiting on you, which is something that I would have never thought about if I was never a pharmacy technician. I would have never thought about the importance of how much a tech plays in the role of a patient's care. And really, all these people play a role in patient's care. But that's my whole point in the fluidity of a patient's healthcare team. It's not just the doctor. Yeah, the doctor is the leader, but you need everyone in order to be able to ensure that the patient gets the right, proper care. So I specifically talked about COVID for my meaningful experience, and I talked about how we were making remdesivir, because remdesivir at the time was an investigational drug that was used for COVID patients, and I had to deliver the IV bags to the COVID floors. At this point, there were more than like one COVID floor. At first, the COVID floor was only like, I think, on the 6th floor, but it started, moving to the 10th, 8th, 5th, because it was just so many people that were contracting COVID. So I talked about how I walked the hallways, I communicate with nurses, and my heart went out to the people that I saw laying on their stomachs. I guess that was supposed to help them breathe better. The people that had COVID that were laying on their stomachs and just trying to get through it. There was a specific situation where I made like a low dose of remdesivir for a specific patient, and the pharmacist had sent it back into the IV room, and I asked them, why did you send it in? Because like I thought that I made it right, I reconstituted it correctly and everything, and they said, yeah, the patient passed away, so we're going to use this same bag for someone else. The bag didn't get used, it didn't get punctured or anything, but it kind of just reinforced the importance of what I do. I also talked about how I had the opportunity to work in a chemotherapy and rheumatology clinic. Those are my experiences as far as clinical. And then I did explain my experience as a volunteer group trainer, and I kind of used that experience to emphasize my passion for community health. I really do think that the healthcare system is just not for black and brown people. It's just really not. Even when it comes to food deserts and where people live, like sometimes it is really just convenient to go grab, a burger from McDonald's than it is to go to the grocery store and like find that an apple is $5. Like it's inconvenient and it's unfair. And I just think that it creates comorbidities. That's what our system creates, because everyone is not given the same amount of resources. So I explained that as a group trainer, how some people couldn't afford a gym. Sometimes it was easier to just meet at a track or meet at a park or meet at a field and just work out. Because I wanted to teach people that there are affordable ways to still live a healthy lifestyle. And that's exactly what I explained in my essay. In that, I also explained the importance of nutrition and how I want to reach back out into the community once I become a doctor and host free markets that have fruits, veggies, fresh fruits and veggies that the community can take if they do live in a food desert. And as you can see, I have other things listed here, you all. I was able to, one thing I kind of wanted to bring up was, if you're an athlete and you're applying to medical school, a way to kind of like separate all your athletic like accomplishments is kind of the way that I did it here. I separated my USA medals. I also talked about how I was a captain of the women's track and field team, and then I did all my honors and academic team awards separate. So if you look, I talked about how I made the commissioner's honor roll for all 5 of my years at UNC Charlotte. I also said that at 2019 I was chosen as the outstanding performance because of the Conference USA meet that we won. And then I talked about how I was also chosen for this award for the years 2015 to 2017. And I know they can be a little weird because they may expect you to like write certain things for 2015, 2016, 2017, but I kind of just summed it all up in my description. So don't feel like you have to like make a bunch of different columns for like the different years that you got awards. I would just put it all in one, that way you can have more room to talk about your other experiences that were meaningful to you. So after that, you all, we have letters of evaluation, and pretty self-explanatory. You do have the option to have a committee letter, which is actually what I did. I chose to ask my advisor about a committee letter, and she wrote me a committee letter. And I also had a couple of clinical evaluations. So I had my supervisor from the pharmacy, and I also had a doctor that was my mentor. She wrote me a letter as well, along with a letter from my academic and athletic advisor. So, and I thought I'd touch on this too. For the committee letter, your letter consists of 3 science professors. That could be physics, bio, chemistry, organic chemistry, and it's going to pair with a letter from the committee, and I think even a letter from the pre-health advisor. A committee letter is not the end-all be-all. You don't have to have a committee letter. It doesn't make your application better than a person that didn't have a committee letter. Like, it doesn't really matter. But if you can get one, why not? I mean, at the end of the day, it's more people speaking on your behalf. But that does not mean that if you don't have a committee letter, you're not going to get in. It's not that big of a deal. You just need letters of recommendation. That is the point. And you want to have letters of recommendation from all aspects of your pre-med career. Then you have medical schools, and the medical schools that you apply to. And then you have your essay. Your essay is just your personal statement. You literally just copy and paste. And you have 5,300 characters that you can use in order to finish your personal statement off. I think I used all characters. I had one left. So I used 5,299 characters. And so after that, you have your standardized test, which I have no problem showing you all my MCAT score. I mean, you can go back and look at my MCAT reveal, but I'm going to show you right here. You can see my first time that I took it, January 2020, I got a 498, and then in August of 2020, I got a 505. You can see that I got a 127 in Chem Phys, 122 in cars. I bombed cars, y'all. Clearly, y'all can look at this and see that I'm not good at cars. It just is what it is. I don't understand, but whatever. Did really good in my bio section, got a 128, and then 128 in psych as well. So yes, you're going to put all your scores in there. It is possible to put your score in there after you've already submitted your application. You can do that, you all. That's what I did this year. I had already applied to medical school in July, and I took my MCAT August 29th, and as soon as I got the score back, I sent it off. You can go back into your application and like input things, and it'll work out just fine. It won't, it's okay. Because what mostly happens is schools will automatically send you a secondary. Sometimes they'll screen your application first, but a lot of schools, they will automatically send you a secondary. So what you want is, once you've completed the secondary application, they can fully view your application as a whole. So you want to make sure that by the time that you've submitted your primary, you're still like working on those letters of recommendation. Like, you're kind of waiting on them to come. Like, you know that they're going to come within the next 2 weeks. That way, whenever you finish your secondary application, all your letters can be in, your score can be in, and it can be a complete application. No more essays. All you're waiting on is interviews. So it's okay, y'all. It worked out for me, and it will work out for you too. So yeah, y'all, that's pretty much it in this video. I just wanted to go over like my application and what all I wrote down, what all I put in it, how I made myself stand out. I will go over my personal statement as well. yeah, I'll go over my personal statement as well, and I will talk about the differences that the differences between the first time that I wrote my personal statement and the second time. So we'll go over that as well. I want to make sure I touch on some points to help you all out if I can. Yes. If you're not following me on Instagram, please follow me at yourfitdoc, YOURFITDOC on Insta. There I kind of lay out just different things that I've learned throughout my process in applying to medical school and celebrating my wins, while also giving you a little fitness inspiration, you know, here and there. So please follow me and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're still here, I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.